Welcome down, everyone, to another episode of Those Nerds You Know. My name is Ethan.
My name is Scott.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. We are a podcast about nerdy things that we love, like video games and comic books and movies and anime and manga. And today, we're coming at you with a review of Captain Marvel. The movie. The movie that's come out. Captain Marvel. Thoughts, Scott? First impressions?
First impressions, it's a Marvel movie. Both
It
pun and in name and in brand. It's basically, an origin story, which is what Marvel does really well, I guess. And so it kind of just fits within that same narrative.
Or really often, I guess.
Well, let's be honest. Out of all the movies that they've done, most of them that are at least the ones that aren't sequels are origin stories of some form or fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's the best origin story we've gotten, but I think it's better than some. I think it's good.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good middle of the road, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think it doesn't really it draws from some of the other ones that have happened in the past, but I don't feel like it's like trying to break any new ground with their model.
Yeah, I don't like. To me, it's not as good as the first Iron Man or Black Panther, but it is better than like Thor, and probably better than Doctor Strange.
That would probably be where I argue. I feel like Doctor Strange was still a really good origin story for itself because I feel like you learn a lot more about the character and see the character develop in Doctor Strange. Captain Marvel has character development, but it isn't quite as it isn't as drastic. Like the character seems to be the same throughout the beginning to the end. She just happens to grow in power and understand more about herself.
But I'd say so as well.
And I think that's why a lot of people compare it to Iron Man, because like Iron Man doesn't really get stronger physically. He just kind of learns more about himself. But you're right. I wouldn't say that this was better than Iron Man or Black Panther or anything like that.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. I was pretty bored with it at first.
Really?
I don't know. I just found and I think, I don't know if I contribute this to the movie itself or more so to just like maybe Marvel fatigue for me. But just
it could be it. I mean, honestly,
there wasn't any point where I was like afraid for her, especially in like the beginning bits, like the first action sequences and things. I was just like, she's gonna be fine. Like, first off, she's the strongest hero we've got, and second,
by far,
she's this is in the 90s. Like, she's like, you know what I mean? Like that. Like, I didn't feel a lot of stakes.
Yes.
in this, you know what I mean?
And I get that because like it not only does it make the movie itself predictable, one because of how powerful she is, but also because it's following the same kind of scenario as a lot of the other origin movies that have come before it. But also you're right, like because she's so powerful, it's really hard to feel fear for her because you're like, well, I mean, she just blasted her way through that iron wall. Like anything is possible with her.
Yeah, but I think this movie was more meant to just like introduce you to her, let you understand what her power set is and her background is, and like this was like a preview for Endgame.
Yes,
Avengers Endgame.
I think so. Plus, I feel like it also like really helps distinguish the side characters. Like I felt like there was a lot of character development with Nick Fury and her best friend Maria Rambeau.
Maria. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the change in them like is pretty cool to see, and like they kind of get this like family aspect to them as well. Like I don't know, I've never seen Nick Fury as like a more down to earth. He's always been this kind of like ominous, leader of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I loved having him throughout a whole movie. Like,
oh yeah,
it's about time. I'm very impressed that it's gone this long without having him as a main character throughout the whole film. So that was really cool.
He also plays into the trope a lot too. Like I really like that he actually flies into it because he wants to keep this stoic nature and everything. Like that moment when she's like asking him questions and stuff, and she's like, "What do you call your mom? Fury. What are you going to call your kid? Fury."
That's good. I think other things that made it kind of boring for me was like some of the quips. I was just like, it's not. Yeah,
they didn't always sit really well. The comedy, I feel like they were trying to make it kind of like a buddy cop feel to it, and like I feel like where it went really well, Samuel L. Jackson kind of held that up. But like, yeah, maybe it was just the writing of Captain Marvel, or maybe it was just the acting style of Alison Brie. But like, I didn't really get that same feeling from her side of the banter. Like, they all had banter, right? But only some of them like fell right. And I don't.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like that could be various things for me though. Like, I don't laugh at all of the jokes in Ragnarok.
That's true. Yeah.
Some of them I'm just like, that's dumb. So I think it could just be that just could be a very me thing. I think for the most part they were fine. I like Brie Larson. I like the character of Captain Marvel. I enjoyed her back and forth with Fury. Just some of it I was like, meh. Let's see. So, right. Smidge boring at first. I've seen it twice. I think I liked it more the second time, which, like, I walked out of it the first time and I was like, I'm going to have to see this again. Because it's also how I felt about Guardians of the Galaxy. First time I saw it, I just didn't care. And then I saw it a second time and I was like, man, this is good. This is a good film. So I think that could be it as well. Also, just like being this far into the Marvel Universe, I think I expect a lot of familiarity in films, and there wasn't a lot of that in this. Because Nick Fury's in it, sure, but he's different. He's younger. Coulson's in it, which is amazing. I love the fact that he's in it. So happy to have Coulson in this film. But not for a whole lot, you know what I mean? Like there's just not a lot of the established universe is not in this. And so I guess it was just like I was really depending on Captain Marvel to carry this for me. And she was good. It just wasn't miraculous. I think I'll like her more as she interacts with other Marvel characters in Endgame, which is where I'm at with a lot of the characters in Marvel. Like I much more enjoy seeing them interact with each other than I do seeing them have a solo film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can get that because a lot of the time, like these Avengers movies aren't really specific to one character. Like the reason why we go and see them is so that we can see all of the characters kind of interacting with each other. Mm-hmm. And I feel like she's got a lot to bring to the table, both in strength and in character. But you're right. It's like it's hard for you to portray that sometimes in a singular movie. Like even some of the Iron Man movies, you know, it was like it's hard to feel as nostalgic or invested in Tony Stark when it's just by himself, because it's like you fought an alien invasion. Like, you shouldn't be calling some of your buddies. Like, why is he doing this by himself at this point? And so that kind of takes away a little bit from the character. I will say that this first arc, that whole like space arc before, had a lot of questions, and it was also very flat for me. Like it doesn't really like become a good movie in my opinion until like she lands on Earth. But like that whole space, because like there was a lot of points where I'm just like, okay, so this is the world of the Kree, but why are some of them blue and some of them not blue? And why does it look like a Guardians of the Galaxy world versus like a Kree world? And you know, and then it's just like, what kind of missions are they doing? Because it only seems like they're fighting Skrull, but like that's not really what the Kree do. And so, you know, and it just was like, what's happening right now? Like it was very hard to like, and even for someone who knows a little bit more about Captain Marvel and like the history of the Skrull and everything, I was like, what? Where is this going? I don't understand.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It's just, I didn't mind some of the early stuff. I actually kind of liked seeing the team sort of fight and take down some of the Skrulls. That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was a decent action bit. But it was a bit confusing at first, like catching on to all of their individual skills and abilities. It was easier to see that the second time I went through, which was cool. I like that, I don't know how to say this man's name. Jimon Hanso, maybe?
The Skrull?
No. He's the black guy on the Kree team with two swords.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. I like that he's in this playing, because he's also in Guardians of the Galaxy. So there are two connections there are a couple connections to Guardians of the Galaxy in this, which I do like that. I like that they kept a little bit of familiarity and connectivity between their universes in that way. So he's in the early bits of Guardians of the Galaxy. He's one of the guys that attempts to take down Star-Lord in the first bit of Guardians of the Galaxy, which I liked seeing him again. I don't really know anything about whether blue Kree or not blue Kree. I think I would assume other people, there are either different races of Kree or there are transplants into the Kree world, like what Captain Marvel is. How like maybe they take over other planets, and some people swear allegiance to them, and then they just adopt the Kree lifestyle. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it might just be like a lifestyle versus like actual characters. Because like most of the team didn't look like they were Kree; they just looked like people who were from other planets that were just involved in the Kree military, basically.
And then there was also Ronan, which I really liked.
Yeah, Ronan was really funny.
I don't know why I like Ronan so much. I'm a serious Ronan fanboy. He's real cool. I've liked him since the first Guardians. He's just, I think I like his character design a lot, and I'm just really on board with that. And I just like Lee Pace a lot, like the actor that portrays him. It's super cool. I love seeing him again. That was really fun.
It fits in the same kind of narrative though of Ronan, because like even in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, you see just how stoic of a person he is, but he's also got kind of this like it's like he gets the jokes that are happening around him, but then he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to be involved in this because I'm too cool for that. But like that moment, like when we sees Captain Marvel like go ham, she's just like, well, we're coming back for this. Gonna need that in the future.
It's good. I liked him a lot. He's very he's very full of himself and very pretentious.
Oh,
and
yes.
Seems as though like he's like he has this sort of like emperor presence, like the emperor from Star Wars, but it's like he's trying really hard to make that presence, like he's a guy who's trying really hard to look tough, and I love that so much. It's so funny to me. But Ronan's really cool. Anyways, he's in it, and that's fun. The Accuser, leading the Accusers who bomb stuff. Great times. What a good time.
I never realized that was like what the Accusers were for. I thought the Accusers were kind of like, like rulers or lawyers or whatever. But like here, it seems like they're kind of more like the special ops, like just blow things up and then judgment later on.
Yeah, it seems like their Inquisition. Their main military force that puts down rebellions and heretics and such and such and such. Anyways, what else? I'm looking at my list here. Oh, Ben Mendelsohn. Okay, so Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh, yeah.
Talos. And I didn't realize it was Ben Mendelsohn before seeing him as a human being. And when I saw him, the first time I saw the movie, before I caught on to the twist. When I saw Ben Mendelsohn walk on screen as just his regular, normal human self, with Fury in the autopsy room, I was like, bad guy. Because he is only cast as bad guys. And then he was a bad guy, and I was like, yes, he's a bad guy. And then he wasn't, and I was like, that's cool. Okay, yeah, he's good guy. He's a good guy now, yes.
He's a good guy.
that was so... I just thought it was so funny to have him there, and so interesting to see him in a better role. And he's just... I love that he's just a goofy, funny Australian guy. Like, it's just so funny to me. His accent is so off, like, from every other Skrull, from everything that's happening around them. I'm just like, why does he sound like this? But it works. It's so funny. It's so funny.
It's true though, because like you're right. Like all the Kree kind of have their own language and dialect and accents and everything. But like he's having an Australian accent, like he just sounds so different from everybody else. Plus, like his sense of humor seems like to be very different from everybody else's way of talking as well.
Mm-hmm. He was funny. I love like when he came in and he was just full Skrull when he came into Maria's house and started talking and was just joking around. I was like, this is great. This is really funny. That I really liked, with the exception of the cat thing, Flarkin. Is this like when that first happened? I was like, "Is this the Mummy? Is this the Mummy now? Are we ripping off the Mummy?"
I feel like they were trying to sell a toy of some sort. There, they were trying to pitch that idea.
What?
I think they were trying with the cat. I think that was Marvel's way of trying to
trying to sell a toy.
Sell a toy.
Maybe so, yeah. With the cat. So when I watched it the second time, I picked up on something. Because I guess you're supposed to pick up that it's not really a cat or something like that. And like you kind of do by the end. By the time it like spits out all of its tentacles and eats someone, I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. That was expected. It's still fun. It's a cool reveal, but it was expected. But one of the fun things is, if you didn't catch on to that, And if you want a little tip, in when they first get up to that laboratory and they're walking about, the cat walks over to the Tesseract and like paws at it. Like it touches the Tesseract several times. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is not a cat. Because like it would have absolutely died. Because no one's supposed to like really be able to touch it unless they're like powerful, like Captain Marvel or Captain America and things like that. Unless you have Captain in your name or you are a Flarkin. So that was pretty neat. I was like, oh, interesting little bit. Let me see. What else we got?
So did you? I didn't feel like the Flarkin was needed so much. It just seemed like one gag that was just continuous, and I guess obviously like it was hilarious. It had a hilarious punchline at the end when he like pukes the Tesseract on Nick Fury's desk. But at the same time, I was like, how long is this joke gonna go for? Because like when we get first introduced to him, I'm just like, okay, well, this is interesting. But then like it just started to get kind of a little old, I think.
I don't know. I was fine with it. Once we revealed that it was the tentacle monster, and then like it betrays Fury, but it like doesn't really betray Fury because it knows, it can tell when the Skrull is being a Skrull and doing Skrully things. So that was cool. I didn't really mind that. But I like that this movie involved the Tesseract, because it informs us as to what happened to it, because we lose the Tesseract at the end of Captain America 1, and then we just don't see it until Avengers, and S.H.I.E.L.D. just has it.
Yeah.
So this was a good movie to help describe or help show us how that happened, where we got it, how we ended up with it, how it was kept secret and cared for, yada, yada, yada. Really cool. It was quite fun. So I enjoyed them sort of looping that back and piecing that little bit together. That was cool.
I do also like that, like, this is kind of a way for Nick Fury to... He's not as seasoned as he is in the Avengers movies as well, because obviously this is like 15 years before or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like, so he's seen some craziness because obviously S.H.I.E.L.D. has already done like, you know, craziness stuff with like the Red Skull and everything. But like here, he's surprised by things, but he's not surprised to where he's like just freaking out about things. It's like it doesn't faze him as much as it should for other agents, I think. And so like on the one hand, he's like, oh, you know, I've seen crazy stuff before. But on the other hand, he's like, wow, I've never seen somebody shoot some lasers from their hands before. That's pretty unique. Yeah. And so it's kind of cool to see Nick Fury being like, all right, can everybody do that? Or is it just you? Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was very strange. I don't know. Anyways. But I think overall I liked Captain Marvel. I like her character. I like that this was a movie about a really cool, awesome superhero that was female.
Yes,
I didn't feel like it was beating us over the head with that. It was just just how it was.
Which I did kind of worry that was going to be, especially with the trailers and everything, and the people that were like making or hyping the movie up and everything. I felt like that was kind of where they were going for it. And like, you know, we got a little bit of that with like Wonder Woman as well, but I think that both Wonder Woman and this movie have done really well about like portraying that without making it seem like, you know, we have to keep pressuring this idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was good. It was just a really cool film, and she happens to be a woman. Awesome.
Yeah,
it was really cool. She's strong. I like. We get a basic idea of her powers, I guess. She can shoot lasers and fly and breathe in space and is impervious to a lot of things.
I don't know about the breathe in space, though. Like, in times it seems like she can, and then there's times where she can't. She puts on a mask. So, and then, like, there's times when she's underwater and she has a mask on, and so...
When she's underwater, I don't think... Well, her early on, and when she's underwater and all that nonsense, her powers weren't awakened yet. I think once her powers awaken, because she was, like, just in space without a helmet on with her powers all the way glowing. So I think she's fine without the helmet at that point. If her powers are fully on, if her powers aren't fully on, she uses the helmet, and it's fine.
Which is fine, because, like, Captain Marvel always had, like, this, like, crazy, awesome, cool helmet, and it would just kind of defeat the purpose of her, like, never needing one. But, like, at the same time, it's also cool as an armor piece. So, like, even if she can breathe in space, which she probably can, I mean, which we know we can now, but, like, you know, we still get that awesome piece. I like the costume concept too. Like the way that they've introduced it was very, very cool.
Yeah, it was neat. I was alright with it. But yeah, she's super cool. She blasts stuff. She's fun. She's quippy. She I wish. So at the end, when she just like blasts Jude Law, after he's like, "Come on, turn off your powers and just fight me," and she just like shoots him, and I was like, "That I saw that coming." Like they telegraphed that real hard, but it was still alright, I guess.
I thought that was going to be what was going to happen as well. It felt very Indiana Jones, but at the same time, I'm also like, she was right. Like she just walks up to him and she's like, "I have nothing to prove to you," and I'm like, "Yeah, you don't." Like. This dude thinks he's like so big and bad, but like you can destroy planets. You know?
Yup. There were some interesting things about. Okay, so I have a couple of like questions.
Okay.
Just like nitpicks that I feel I should nitpick. So I'm gonna nitpick. This is it. This is Ethan's nitpick corner, everyone. This is Ethan's gonna nitpick time. So it's interesting to me that her blood is still blue, which like tells me maybe.
Well, he talks about it. John Rogg talks about it in the beginning or at the end of the movie, where he's like testing her doppelganger or whatever, the scroll that's trying to do the code and everything. And he talked about how like when she was resurrected, they put his blood into her, and so I think her body just maybe just got acclimated to it because of the.
Well, that's what I'm like. Wouldn't your body eventually start producing its own blood again? And wouldn't it be like, because like I feel like it would just turn red again. I
would say so, but at the same time, I also think that like because of the nature of that whatever that force was, it's never really explained what that power is or where it came from. But I think it may
the Tesseract power she has.
No. Is it Tesseract power though?
Well, yeah. Like, I mean, the whole thing was powered by the Tesseract.
Well, I thought the engine that exploded on her, that wasn't Tesseract power, was it?
But it was made from. That's what I'm saying. It was made from the Tesseract. That thing, the engine that exploded on her, was created using power from the Tesseract. So her power is Tesseract linked, just like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were linked to. I think maybe the Mind Stone, whichever stone was in Loki's staff, is what gave them their powers. So like we have histories of people gaining powers from these gems. So
yeah, I don't know. I wonder like if it's like if that's just what happens is like her body just changes to that, or it may have to do with the fact that his blood was in her system when she was kind of recuperating from that.
Yeah, maybe so.
But you're right. That is a very nitpicky thing. Like you think that her blood would just go back to being red because she's human. Strange to me.
Anyways, but you gotta do that so you don't reveal any secrets that they reveal in trailers. But it's fine. Another question. So when Skrulls when they die, they revert back to their Skrull form. However, their clothes don't. And I'm like, for why? Because their skin and their face turns back green, but their clothes remain whatever they had beforehand, which doesn't make sense because if it reverts back, everything should revert back.
That's another thing though that bothered me is that like I don't remember Skrulls' bodies changing, at least their clothes changing into the clothes of the next person. Like I thought that they had to change into the person and then change their costume or change their clothes or steal the clothes from whoever it was.
I'm fine with them not doing that. I'm fine with them having to. I'm fine with them being able to change their clothes just because that makes the movie simpler. But like, I'm like, if you're gonna go back. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird. It was strange.
Yeah. It makes me think of that episode of X-Men where Mystique transforms into a woman holding an umbrella, but she transforms into holding an umbrella, and you're like, would that come from her as well?
Yes.
Did she make an umbrella, and then if she dies, does that umbrella go back inside of her? Like, what the heck?
That's great. She's just got umbrellas for days.
Oh, jeez.
That's really funny. Also, okay, so you and I, we're both Skrulls, okay?
Sure.
We're tracking down Captain Marvel.
Sure.
We find her at a Blockbuster. One of us takes the form of Coulson, so we can get in close, and we're hanging out real close by her. The other one is still a surfer, and then decides to get on the roof and shoot her. Define this logic. So I've watched the second time I watched this, I was like, wait a second. There's a scroll already 2 feet away from her, and then there's a scroll on the roof disguised as no one who would be around there, a surfer or someone who went surfing, and points a gun at her and shoots at her. And I'm like, you're still trying to capture her, right?
Yeah. So the thought,
what are you doing?
My thought process behind this is that they didn't really capture her until she got to a certain location, and so I think it was kind of like a bait and switch. Like they needed someone to be close to her, following her, like in Coulson's body, but they also needed someone for her to follow into that trap. And so, like, they needed to be like, here I am, ha ha ha, you know, like, and like, I never at any point thought that the scroll that she was chasing was any like real immediate danger. Like, I figured that she was gonna like catch him eventually, but the scroll didn't seem like it was trying to run away because it was scared of her. I felt like it was like drawing her towards something, and which inevitably ended up being true. So if you look at it that way, then it seems like the Kree were very like organized, which I can see because especially since they've been doing this for a little while. But at the same time, like seeing at the second half of the movie how kind of incompetent they are about certain things, then I also kind of think that maybe that just was a little bit.
No,
of
I think someone just screwed up and shot at her, and I'm like, why would you shoot at her?
Don't
like,
shoot at her.
Just you like have one of you turn into Coulson, have the other one turn into Fury.
Yeah,
and then just beat up the two of them, put them in a closet, and then approach her. You've got her off guard because she thinks you're just a lower level life form on this planet. Just shock her, take her in. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It completely blew your own cover.
I totally agree.
Where were they leading her? I don't even remember. I don't think they were leading her anywhere. Were they?
Well, because they took her down with that. What did they take her down with? Oh my goodness! I just saw this movie and I don't remember how they took her down. But they knocked her out with something, and like I don't think that he had it with him when they took her down.
I'm trying to remember what happened. No, she just gets away, and that's right. She gets someone leaves a gem behind, and she picks up the gem.
That's right,
and puts that into her whatever communication system, and gets the hint to go to Ponchos. And then we get the fun scene where she's plugging in Ponchos into Google in 1995 or whatever. And yeah, there's a lot of jokes about technology in this. That was fun. It was a good time, I guess. The CD loading at the end was great. That was a good time.
I loved the CD loading part, and it does show. I did feel like it added to that whole theme that this movie was trying to get across, was that it was happening in the 90s. But I also felt like parts of this, like it's happening in the 90s, felt like it was very, very forced, and we're just like, okay, we get it. You're in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Like music's different. People are weird. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that was fine. I didn't super mind any of that.
In my opinion, it would be like the same if someone like took like the Back to the Future movie and then remade it to look like the 80s, and they just kept pushing it. And you're like, okay, we got it. It's old school. All right.
Oh, excuse me. But yeah, so I think on the whole, I was like, okay with this movie. It is good. It is a good Marvel film. Certainly not the worst. But it just makes me more excited for Endgame.
It really does, and especially since this new trailer came out, and I feel like Captain Marvel has like, I worried at first that like Captain Marvel was going to be just like this throwaway character, or this or either was he be a throwaway character or a savior of some sort. But at this point, when this movie, it feels like she's very humanized. Like I feel like yes, she's powerful, but she isn't like, you know, I don't feel like she could do this by herself if that were the case.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I agree. It'll be cool to see her interact with the team. I'm wondering if she's going to stay around afterwards. I'm really interested in Endgame. It's gonna be good. Also, at what point do you think Captain America shaves his beard? Is it early or is it late?
Ooh, good question. I feel like it would probably be early because like
we ask the real questions here.
I feel like he would get tired of it very easily because like he never really had it until that one movie, but then it was just like nobody really liked it or
until Infinity War, right? What?
But maybe he also used it for disguises.
Was it shaved whenever he had his like new Avengers suit on? I feel like it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was shaved. Yeah.
So before they go to space, he's like, I gotta shave before we go to space.
Yeah. Did you? So you saw the new trailer then?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What did you think about it?
It was good. I really liked it because of my the way I am about trailers is I don't like things being revealed, but they don't reveal really anything in this except for the fact that Captain Marvel is in the film, which we already knew. And they've got new Avenger suits. But other than that, it's a lot of recycled footage from like the last film and from other origin movies, and I'm just like, yeah, this just makes me more excited about it. Yep, it's cool. It's just like, hey guys, guess what? There's a bunch of Avengers in this movie, and I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, and they've been around for a while, and I'm like, what? And Captain Marvel's here, yeah, and Thor likes her, yeah, he does, and then, yep, that's it. Guess what? Endgame's next month. Okay.
I was very excited to see the Avengers outfits. I didn't think that was going to happen. Like, it's straight out of the comics, and it's just beautiful. I mean, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I liked being able to see everybody kind of like getting it. Obviously, it ruined some things, but like I also did like to see the people like kind of interacting with one another, especially the Thor Captain Marvel feeling that she's like, I like this woman.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that's cool. I want to see them fight. Ooh,
I really do too. I feel like that would be a fight to remember for sure.
Good stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited for Endgame. I'm excited that we have this new piece of the Avengers world with Captain Marvel. I'm like, this makes me concerned for the future. Like, is if we ever have to do other introductory films, like, am I just going to be bored with it? And am I just going to have to be like, okay, that was cool, but I can't wait until they're in this other thing with a bunch of other people. But then also we had Black Panther that I really, really liked. So I don't know. I don't know what the key is for their origin stories. Meh.
Yeah, they definitely they either can go one or two ways. This one was kind of like, very so, but like they're either very, very good or they're just they don't really live up to the standard that was there before them.
Yeah. That being said, like, I know it may seem like we're down on this film. It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie,
and you should see it. And a bad Marvel film is still better than most other films I see nowadays.
And not to say that this is even a bad Marvel film. Like,
and it's not
a bad Marvel film.
This is a very good film.
This is not that. Yeah.
We're just nitpicky at this point, I think, because we're spoiled by Marvel movies, probably.
You're like, it's been 10 years. Like, they know. And so... But, like, they also have... This is a lot of different writers and a lot of different producers on this versus other movies. So I feel like they were also kind of, like, flexing their writing skills and muscles and stuff. And, like, not everything's going to fly correctly, so...
Yeah, that's probably true.
I did like the changes that were made in here to make this kind of original to itself versus the comics and stuff, like the changes with the scrolls and everything. Like, I liked that. I think that really shows a lot of like what Marvel's really been trying to do with the cinematic universe, which is trying to be its own thing.
Yeah, that was cool. Did you call any of these twists?
No, not at all. I figured she was. I figured immediately that she was gonna get taken in, because like that's what the Skrulls do. Like the Skrulls are known for like being like, oh, we are the good guys, and then like you turn around and they're like, nope, we were the bad guys. You totally fell for it. Are you crazy? Like, of course we're the bad guys. And like, yeah, there are some good guys, but like honestly, it's more often than not they're generally out to kill somebody.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I figured Jude Law would be a bad guy. So he had that bad guy vibe.
Jan Rog's generally a bad guy, but like just by saying his name, that was kind of the fans were kind of like, yeah, well, he's going to kill somebody. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about it, and I've avoided a lot of spoilers, but like, yeah, I was just like, he'll probably be bad. And then I was like, oh, Ben Mendelsohn's definitely bad. So that one threw me when we started joking in the house. I was like, okay, is he a good guy? And then he was. And I was like, that's refreshing.
I did not fall for that 1 second. I was like, yeah, okay, refugees, whatever. But then I'm like, oh, they are refugees. Oh, okay, well.
Yeah.
No, shoot. It's like, because they're crazy, man. They'll play every card in the game to get into it. So like, all right.
I don't know. I liked it. It was cool. It was good. It was also, like I said before, it was refreshing to see Ben Mendelsohn.
It definitely made them human for sure, because like in the comics, like they've always just been like the bad guys that like kick babies for the sake of kicking babies and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and this time you're trying to like, well, okay, they are they've got humanity, right? They have reasons for things. So,
and Kree are typically bad guys too, right?
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah.
I mean, they're all aliens are bad in this, right?
They're pretty. Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah.
So that was interesting. Could have gone either way, and it kind of did.
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, I'm excited to see more of that. I do hope we see more of the in between, of like what happens between Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame, but I wouldn't mind if the next Captain Marvel movie is set after Endgame either. Like, I think any of that would be fine.
I'd love that. I would really love that, or even like just to see a little bit of like what it looked like, because I can only imagine. I feel like if they did anything with this Avengers Endgame, and they probably won't because they don't have much time, but like if we just saw her like finish establishing this colony with them, and then like 15 years later half the colony just disperses, and she's like, okay, well something's definitely wrong here, and Nick Fury called me, so we need to get back to Earth. Like,
I'd just like to see Ben Mendelsohn do Talos again. That was really good. That's what I want. I want a Talos solo film. Let's do that.
Yeah,
Spin-off
good, man.
Talos, or a Talos series. It's like a Netflix series, or I guess a Disney whatever series, whatever that thing their streaming service is called.
I can see them naming a series like Skrulls or something and having them like, because they did like Inhumans.
Just a sitcom, Talos and his family dealing with Skrull stuff.
Can you imagine the humor in that movie?
I would love that so much. Anyways, it's good. Go see it. Get pumped for Endgame.
Pumped for Endgame. I'm ready to be emotionally destroyed.
No, we're gonna be revived. We were destroyed in the last one.
Okay. We're gonna be avenged. We're gonna be avenged in this one.
Scott, what have you been nerding out to?
Well, I recently started back on my subscription with Final Fantasy XIV. They are coming out with the new expansion in July, and so Kaylee and I have transferred over to Jacob and Maggie's server, and it has changed the game completely for us because we're actually playing with people that we know, and we don't have to like random party select and stuff. Like, we're getting through some of the old content and grinding for gear and stuff.
What server is that?
We're in the Sargetanus series. So
all right, hear that, listeners? You can go screw with them. You can go to the Sargetanus, whatever that is.
Just find Malcolm Shepard, and that's me.
You don't have to give away your tags. That's fine.
Yeah. But
okay, we've got like 2 listeners.
Right.
Both of you can go screw with them.
I also just downloaded Warframe, and I was playing a little bit of that. It's really, really good. I like it a lot. It's a free-to-play third-person shooter, and it's an MMO basically. Oh. And it's got a lot of really cool functions and features and stuff in it. Jacob was also one that kind of told me about it and everything. And looking into it, it kind of like the development series has a lot of like the same things that happened with Final Fantasy XIV. Like, it was kind of like we got to make it or break it kind of thing, and then it just kind of shows up. So, but it's really, really good, and the story and the lore is like incredibly well written. So, and I'm only in the first couple of chapters and the beginnings of it and everything, but it's very, very well put together.
Cool. Me gusta. That's awesome. What have I been doing? I've been playing Tetris 99.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Tetris 99. Did you do any better with that event?
No, not really. I'm all right. I've made top 10 a few times. I've never won any. I'm not Eddie. But it's fine. It's good. It's frustrating.
Eddie seems to be like really, really good at that game. Holy crap.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's fun. It's just meh. Yeah. I'm just not good at it, and I don't know how to get better. So
I'm sure that there's like some guides or whatever. Like, it seems to be like all about like making like planning. The people, these guys can like plan like blocks ahead. They just know like, if this block shows up, then I'm going to do this, or if this block shows up, then that's what's going to happen. Like, they're not even planning like their next move by like, what they see there. It's nuts. But I can't comprehend that. I don't know enough about Tetris, or I don't have enough about the macros for me to be like, yeah.
I just do my best to make full Tetrises, and like I'll often only drop things when I have a full Tetris ready, or when someone else is throwing blocks on top of me, and I'll keep some in store, keep like a long piece in store to drop a Tetris to protect myself. But like, I'm just not very good. So and sometimes you just get targeted and people throw crap on top of you way faster than you can deal with, and it's just dumb. Like, you just can't do anything. Anyways, I think that's most of the nerding I've been doing, aside from like a lot of work. I'm caught up on Room of Swords now, the webtoon Room of Swords, as well as more or less caught up on Winter Moon.
I did get into the first season of Winter Moon. I'm about halfway through that, and that's very, very good. I like it a lot.
It's super freaking fun.
it's very consumable too. Like you can go like 30 or 40 chapters before you're like, oh crap, I've only been doing this for an hour.
Yeah, and Rumor Swords is great. We should do an episode on that.
Heck yeah, dude.
So, but it's good. It's good. Reading a lot of webtoons. That's how I do.
Is there anyone that you're reading right now? Any kind of one that you're focusing on? Besides, I guess the ones you're working on actually.
I mean, there's some on Discover that I've looked at recently. There's one called Terramore that I'm into right now. It's only got about 8 episodes out. It's good. I recommend. Terramore. It's very, very pretty. I don't know if there's any other
some of the
ones off
artwork in
top
some of these
my head
ones
right
are
now.
really, really good.
What's that?
I was gonna say that some of the artwork in some of these new webtoons are really, really good.
Yeah. There's plenty of great artists out there. I think the contest brought a lot of people onto the platform, and then New Year's resolutions also tend to do that. So, yeah, I think we've got plenty to choose from up there on Webtoon. It's real good. It's real nice. What else? Man, not much else, bro. I've been doing like dumb, responsible adult things. Like I bought a bed frame, so now my mattress isn't on the floor anymore. I bought new. I got new glasses, which is kind of nerdy, right? So I can see stuff. So that's good. Yeah, it's just man.
I feel you. That's just what life does sometimes.
Being an adult is lame.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I don't know. I haven't gotten to play any Kingdom Hearts lately.
My goodness, you need to finish that game.
I'm so far from finishing it.
You have to finish it,
God,
dude.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
I've only been able to talk about it with one person. I can't even talk about it with my wife. Like you have to finish it, please. Like,
I'm sorry. I'll try. I am having a game night tomorrow night, a board game night, so that'll be nerdy fun for me. And you still need to talk about your betrayal stuff. Was that fun?
Oh, it was so good. We got through the prologue and 4 chapters in, so we've got quite a bit of content through, and I just cannot wait to talk about that as well.
Yes, maybe we'll do that next week. Sounds great. Also, sorry I haven't gotten an episode out in a bit. I haven't been editing either because my job has been ridiculous for the past couple of weeks. So that's what I've been doing. I've been working. But yeah, I'll get something out this week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that about does it. It's a short episode this week, but that'll make it easier on me when I edit. But I think that's about it for us. Thank you for listening. We very much appreciate any likes, comments, subscribes, 5-star reviews, any of that nonsense. We very much appreciate that. Let a friend know if you enjoyed this show. Share it around. Give us a like on Facebook. You can also find the pod on Podbean, Castbox, Stitcher, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts as well. We're all over those places. We are also on YouTube. Just give us a like, comment, subscribe wherever you like to listen to things. And that's about it for us this week. My name is Ethan.
My name is Scott.
And we are those nerds you know. Bye.